Hidden within Botswana's Okavango Delta lies a floating world, where land and water blend into one remarkable landscape. Its unusually long toes distribute pressure so evenly that delicate floating leaves can support its weight.
With remarkably long toes, the African jacana spreads its weight across floating plants, earning the nickname the bird that walks on water.
Where many birds would sink or struggle, the jacana moves with remarkable confidence and balance. In a world shaped by water, every careful step is a reminder that survival often depends on balance rather than strength. Every corner of this floating garden supports life, from tiny insects to elegant birds. Patience is one of the jacana's greatest strengths. Every floating leaf may hide another meal. Every careful step reveals another opportunity. Tiny insects, snails, and aquatic creatures provide the nourishment needed for life in the wetlands. Camouflaged against the wetland, the eggs blend naturally with the floating world that surrounds them. From time to time, the eggs are carefully turned, helping each developing chick grow safely inside its shell. In a remarkable reversal of roles, it is the father who patiently incubates the eggs, protecting the future while the female guards the territory. Balanced between sky and water, this tiny floating home carries the next generation into the future. A new life begins in one of Africa's most delicate homes, surrounded by water and protected by extraordinary care. From the very beginning, the father provides warmth, shelter, and protection. When the smallest legs cannot keep up, an extraordinary father becomes both shelter and transport. Whenever uncertainty appears, the father's first instinct is to protect. Safety comes before every other task. Within hours of hatching, young jacanas begin exploring the floating world that will become their home. Every careful step builds confidence. Guided by experience, the next generation begins its own journey across the floating world. Every journey begins with a single step, but every generation leaves the world stronger for those that follow.
Sometimes nature's greatest wonders are not the loudest, but the quiet moments that remind us how perfectly life can adapt.
The wetlands never stand still. Even the calmest waters quietly shape the lives that depend upon them. The African jacana is only one voice in a vast chorus. Together, countless species create the living rhythm of the Okavango Delta. As daylight fades, the floating world prepares for another peaceful night. Beyond the wetlands, another remarkable hunter begins its day on foot rather than in flight. Join us next time as we discover the elegant secretary bird. Across the African woodland, one remarkable tree has become home to an entire community. Every home begins with careful inspection. Even the smallest details matter. Together, hundreds of carefully woven strands become one of Africa's most remarkable neighborhoods. This single tree supports far more than birds. It is part of a thriving woodland shared by many forms of life. What appears to be a single tree is, in truth, an entire neighborhood built high above the ground. Together, hundreds of carefully woven strands become one of Africa's most remarkable neighborhoods. strong enough to survive the wind, yet light enough to hang from the smallest branches. Every remarkable home begins with a single strand. Each journey carries another piece of tomorrow's home. The first loop is the foundation. Every strand that follows depends on this simple beginning. With remarkable precision, each strand is woven through the last, creating a structure that grows stronger with every careful movement. The narrow entrance helps protect the nest, turning careful design into a powerful survival strategy. What began as a single blade of grass has become a home suspended high above the African woodland. Every carefully woven home must first prove it is safe enough for the future it will protect.
Hidden inside the woven chamber, a new generation begins its journey in warmth and safety.
Before it ever sees the wide African sky, every chick begins life within the shelter of carefully woven walls. Every journey for food returns to the same destination, a hungry chick waiting safely at home. Day by day, curiosity grows stronger than fear. The world beyond the nest begins to call. Every great builder begins life in a home built by another. What began with a single strand of grass has become an entire neighborhood suspended among the branches. Every flower attracts another worker. Even the smallest lives help keep the woodland healthy. While birds build high above, life continues peacefully below. Every level of the woodland has its own story. Soon, this young bird will begin building a home of its own, continuing a tradition passed from one generation to the next. A single tree can become far more than shelter. It can become a place where generations begin. Far beyond the woodland, another remarkable family begins each day with a different kind of teamwork. Join us next time as we discover its unmistakable call has become one of the defining sounds of Africa's rivers. Across Africa's rivers, every sunrise begins with a familiar sound, a voice that has echoed over these waters for generations. Perched above the river, the African fish eagle watches with extraordinary patience. Its sharp eyesight can detect movement far below, making patience one of its greatest strengths. African fish eagles often form long-term pairs, working together to defend their home and raise their young. Their home is more than a nest. It overlooks one of Africa's richest ecosystems, where every day brings new life. From this quiet perch, a story of partnership, patience, and new life is about to unfold. Season after season, the pair returns to the same nest, strengthening it one branch at a time. Its unmistakable call has become one of the defining sounds of Africa's rivers. Some nests become homes for many years, growing larger with every successful breeding season. Building a home is a shared responsibility. Each journey brings another piece of the future. Patience is one of the river's greatest teachers. Every careful observation prepares the eagle for the perfect moment. Together, they watch over a territory that has provided food, shelter, and new beginnings for generations.
Every new generation begins quietly. Warmth, patience, and careful attention protect the life waiting inside.
At just hours old, the chick, a fragile bundle of grey down, finds the strength to face its new world for the first time. With remarkable tenderness, the parent provides the first of many meals, a vital bond forged in the heart of the riverlands. Day by day, small movements prepare the young eagle for a lifetime above Africa's rivers. Confidence grows one quiet day at a time, guided by experience and the steady presence of devoted parents. One day, this young eagle will leave the nest and find a river of its own. Every great journey begins with a single view of the world beyond home. The river never belongs to one species alone. Its waters nourish countless lives, each connected in ways we rarely see. Every hunter has its own way. Along these waters, patience takes many different forms. Some lives unfold above the water, others remain hidden beneath it. Together, they share the same river. Every creature has found its own place along the river, each surviving in a different way. As evening settles across the valley, the voices of the river become quieter, but the story of life continues. Along another African river, a different kind of architect is hard at work. Join us next time as we discover how one of nature's greatest builders creates an entire nation.
No two zebras share exactly the same stripe pattern. Like a fingerprint, every individual is unique.
Across Africa's endless grasslands, every new sunrise begins another chapter in the story of life.
From their earliest days, young foals learn an important lesson. Never stray far from the herd. For zebras, survival begins with staying together. Every member of the herd contributes to the safety of the group. Africa's grasslands are shared by many animals, each finding its own place within this remarkable landscape. Alone, a zebra is vulnerable. Together, the herd becomes one of Africa's greatest survival stories. A zebra rarely faces the world alone. Safety begins with remaining close to the herd. While some zebras feed, others remain alert. Many watchful eyes help the entire herd stay aware of its surroundings. Young foals learn an important lesson from their very first days. Family is never far away. The African plains are shared by many families, each following its own rhythm across the same endless landscape. Simple social bonds help strengthen the relationships that hold the herd together day after day. Together, the herd becomes something greater than any single zebra. A community moving across the plains as one. Curiosity grows with confidence. Every small adventure helps prepare young zebras for the world around them. For a young zebra, the safest place is close to its mother, surrounded by the quiet strength of the herd. As the herd moves, the youngest members remain protected within the experience of the adults surrounding them. Rest is just as important as learning. Growing stronger takes time, patience, and the quiet care of a family.
Young foals begin tasting grass early in life, although they continue nursing while gradually learning to feed independently.
Every foal begins life surrounded by guidance. Within the herd, each new generation learns the rhythm of the African plains. Africa's grasslands are shared by many travelers. Each species has found its own place within the same remarkable home.
Some birds have learned to follow large grazing animals, finding an easy meal among the insects hidden in the grass.
Every corner of the grassland is busy. Even the smallest daily routines help shape this thriving ecosystem. The African savanna is more than a place. It is a living community where every species contributes to the story of life. Each animal has its own role. While zebras graze, others search the grasslands in completely different ways. The same trees that shelter birds and insects also provide welcome shade beneath the African sun.
As dawn reaches the African woodland, another quiet story of life begins high above the grass. For a young giraffe, every day brings new lessons beneath the watchful care of its family. Height offers more than food. It gives giraffes a remarkable view across the African landscape. From high among the branches, giraffes find food that few other animals can reach. Every species has found its own place in the African woodland, sharing the same landscape in different ways. From the tallest branches to the smallest wildflowers, every life here has found its place. Today, we follow those who live closest to the African sky. Few animals can reach these tender leaves. A giraffe's remarkable height opens a world of food high above the grass. A giraffe's tongue can grow to nearly half a meter long, helping it feed among thorny branches with remarkable precision. Every meal becomes a lesson. Little by little, the calf learns the skills that will support it throughout its life. Sharing the African woodland allows many different animals to thrive, each feeding in its own way. From this remarkable height, giraffes can observe vast distances across the African plains, giving them time to notice changes in their surroundings. For giraffes, survival is not about speed or strength. It is about reaching where others cannot and seeing what others cannot. Every giraffe begins life with an extraordinary challenge. Within a short time of birth, it must learn to stand. Standing is not easy. Balance comes through determination, patience, and repeated attempts. Each successful step is more than a milestone. It is the beginning of a lifetime on the African plains. Within about an hour of birth, many giraffe calves are already walking, a remarkable adaptation that helps them stay close to their mothers. Every towering giraffe once began with uncertain steps. Today, another journey has just begun. Tiny helpers called oxpeckers search for parasites on the giraffe's skin. Their partnership benefits both species. Every level of the woodland offers something different. While giraffes feed high above, other animals thrive below. The same trees that feed giraffes also shelter birds, insects, and countless smaller forms of life. Even the smallest creatures play an important role in keeping this woodland healthy and full of life. Each species uses the woodland differently, yet together, they create one thriving community. No animal lives alone. Every tree, every bird, every flower, and every family forms part of the living story of Africa. As the sun begins to set, the long shadows of the giants stretch across the land they call home. In the quiet of the evening, the bonds of the family remain their greatest strength. From their remarkable perspective, they see a world that is always changing, yet always familiar. Every day survived is a victory. Every sunset is a promise that the journey will continue.
As another African day comes to an end, the journey of the giraffe family quietly continues. As daylight fades, every family prepares for another peaceful night in the woodland. Some of nature's greatest lessons are shared not through words, but through quiet companionship. As one family settles, another part of the woodland awakens. Life continues around the clock. Across Africa, every family follows its own path. Together, they shape the living story of an extraordinary continent. Beyond the acacia woodlands, another African family depends on a different survival strategy. Join us next time as we discover how zebras find safety through unity.
As the first light reaches Africa's rivers, another remarkable story of survival begins between land and water. These peaceful waters support an entire community of life, where every species follows its own rhythm. For generations, these rivers have carried life across Africa. Here, one family begins another ordinary day, and another extraordinary story. From the very beginning, a young hippo depends on its mother for protection, guidance, and constant companionship. Although they are among Africa's largest animals, hippos spend most of the day almost completely hidden beneath the water. The river offers more than water. It provides safety from the heat of the African sun. Although they appear to be swimming, hippos usually walk along the riverbed beneath the surface. Hippos spend most daylight hours in the water, where the river protects them from the intense African heat.
Young calves remain close to their mothers, learning safety through constant companionship.
A healthy river supports far more than hippos. Birds, fish, insects, and plants all depend on these life-giving waters. A wide-open mouth is often a way for hippos to communicate, display confidence, or simply stretch after hours of resting. As the afternoon passes, the river keeps its secrets. But when darkness arrives, these peaceful giants will begin a very different part of their day. A young hippo rarely leaves its mother's side. Every journey begins together. Hippo calves are born ready for life in the water, learning to swim almost from their very first days. Even in the water, a mother provides everything her calf needs to grow stronger each day. Play strengthens muscles, builds confidence, and prepares young hippos for the challenges that lie ahead. Every new experience builds confidence. Curiosity is one of nature's greatest teachers. In these quiet waters, every calf is surrounded by protection, patience, and the promise of another generation. A river is more than flowing water. It is a home shared by countless lives, each depending on the other in quiet ways. While hippos seek comfort beneath the water, kingfishers depend on these same rivers for every successful catch. Every family follows its own rhythm, yet they all depend on the same life-giving waters. Even powerful neighbors often share the river without conflict. Space, patience, and understanding help maintain nature's balance. Every species contributes something different. Builders, fishers, grazers, and guardians all share this remarkable wetland. When every creature plays its part, the river becomes far more than a place. It becomes a living community. As young hippos grow, curiosity slowly replaces dependence. Safety allows young animals to rest, grow, and gather the strength they will need for tomorrow. As evening approaches, another important journey begins. The river has offered protection, now the land will provide food. Learning doesn't end with childhood. Older youngsters often help guide those following behind. To learn and to prepare the next generation for a lifetime between land and water. As daylight disappears, another part of the hippo's day quietly begins. Night provides the cool temperatures that allow these remarkable animals to feed for hours across the African floodplains. Before dawn arrives once again, the river welcomes the family home. For thousands of years, rivers like these have carried the stories of families returning home beneath the African sky. Every habitat tells a different story. Join us next time as we discover how the world's tallest land animal has found its place high above the African plains. As the African sun rises over the endless savanna, another story of life is about to begin. Every elephant family is guided by an experienced female known as the matriarch. Her greatest strength is not power, it is memory. An elephant calf enters the world surrounded by protection, patience, and an entire family ready to help it grow. For decades, she has remembered hidden waterholes, safe paths, and seasons of plenty. Every position within the herd has a purpose. Even the youngest travelers are never left unprotected. The journey has begun. Only one elephant knows exactly where it will lead, and the entire family trusts her to find the way. For young elephants, the journey begins with trust. They follow long before they understand. Familiar landmarks become living memories, guiding the herd through landscapes that have changed with every passing season. Long before they remember the path themselves, young elephants learn by walking in the footsteps of those who came before. Experience often means knowing where to slow down and where it is safe to move forward. The African savanna is shared by countless lives, each following its own daily rhythm. Every journey is built upon memories gathered over a lifetime. One day, another young elephant will carry this knowledge forward. In an elephant family, every calf belongs to the herd. Mothers are never alone in raising the next generation. For nearly 2 years before birth, a mother carries her calf. After birth, the family continues protecting and nourishing new life every single day. Young females learn to care for calves long before they become mothers themselves. Every generation prepares the next. A trunk is one of nature's most remarkable tools. Mastering it takes months of practice and endless patience. Even the youngest elephants become teachers. Every new experience is shared with those who follow. The future of the herd walks on 4 small feet today. One day, these calves will remember the same paths and guide families of their own. Long before the first drop touches the ground, the matriarch already knows where water can still be found. Patience is part of life in the wild. Even at the water's edge, the herd follows the quiet rhythm of experience. For every calf, even a simple drink becomes another lesson about the world. Growing up takes practice. Every small success becomes another step toward independence. Water belongs to no single animal. It is a meeting place where many lives briefly cross before continuing their separate journeys. The journey continues, carrying with it something more valuable than water, the knowledge of where to find it again. An elephant calf may depend on its mother for milk, but it grows within the care of an entire family. Within the herd, every new life is protected long before it is born. A single calf represents the future of an entire family. One day, another female will remember these same paths. Leadership begins long before anyone realizes they are learning. Every challenge begins as something small. Confidence grows one successful step at a time. Every generation walks a little farther because those before them remembered the way. The future is already walking beside her. One day, these small footsteps will become the path that guides another generation. As the day draws to a close, the journey continues. For elephants, every sunset is simply another chapter in a much longer story. Tomorrow, the path will continue. And with every journey, the young learn a little more from those who remember. Across Africa, every path carries a story. Every family leaves a legacy. Is not the one we walk alone, but the one we leave for those who follow. Within the safety of the herd, another generation grows stronger with every passing day. The future is already walking beside her. One day, these small footsteps will become the path that guides another generation. On the African plains, wisdom guides the herd. But beyond these grasslands, another family has mastered a different way of life. Join us next time as we discover the
As dawn breaks across the African savanna, another day begins for one of the continent's most remarkable families. These quiet greetings strengthen the relationships that hold the pride together.
Every cub begins life surrounded by the care of the pride. His strength is unmistakable. Yet his most important role is not to rule, it is to protect. A lion's day rarely begins with a hunt. It begins with the pride. Every sunrise brings new decisions, but no lion faces them alone. Together, the pride begins another day. These quiet greetings strengthen the relationships that hold the pride together. As dawn breaks across the African savanna, another day begins for one of the continent's most remarkable families. Every day brings new discoveries. Even play helps young lions develop the awareness they will one day depend on. Across the savanna, many lives unfold at the same time. For now, each follows its own path. Every morning begins with awareness. Before moving on, the pride quietly studies its surroundings. Lions communicate in many ways. Even a quiet scent mark can tell neighboring prides that this land is already occupied. Contrary to popular belief, lions spend much of their day conserving energy. Rest is an essential part of survival. As the African sun climbs higher, the pride heads toward the shade, where much of the day will be spent. Every morning begins with awareness. Before moving on, the pride studies its surroundings. As the African sun climbs higher, the pride heads toward the shade, where much of the day will be spent. Across the savanna, many lives unfold at the same time. For now, each follows its own path. Lions communicate in many ways. Even a quiet scent mark can tell neighboring prides that this land is already occupied. Grooming does more than clean the fur. It strengthens the trust that keeps the pride united. To many, lions appear lazy. In reality, every hour of rest helps prepare them for the challenges that come after sunset. Through simple games, cubs practice balance, coordination, and confidence. For every cub, greatest protection comes from staying close to the pride. As the heat begins to fade, the pride continues its quiet journey across the savanna. His strength is measured not by how often he fights, but by the confidence his family places in him. As daylight fades, the pride gathers once more. Together is where their strength begins. The African savanna is vast. Yet for these lions, home is wherever the pride is together. Across Africa, every landscape tells a different story. Our next journey follows a family whose greatest strength is memory. Some lead with wisdom gathered over decades. Experience is one of nature's greatest gifts. Every step teaches the next generation where to go. Every habitat has a hero. Every behavior tells a survival story. Join us next time as we follow an elephant family on a remarkable journey guided by memory, leadership, and generations of experience. Not all leaders wear a mane.